Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. Kind of wanted to do a dueling book adventures very briefly because as I showed the deck profile yesterday for the Kaiser Beatdown deck, I learned a couple of new things and I kind of started playing the deck a little bit more, and I really strongly believe that I'm onto something here. Um, like I'm still learning and perfecting the deck, but I feel like it's a really good idea to just keep showing this off, because again, I want to really try to make a deck work. If I showcase a deck and I showcase a video on it, I don't want it to be a one-trick pony. I don't want it to be like just one video and that's it. I kind of want to showcase other things that the deck can do, and I also want to show other matchups because I only showed Rescue Ace and Unchained. But what happens to if I face something like branded Chimera, like for example, which is exactly what I'm facing against today. So I'm just gonna go through the duel and like showcase a few things that kind of makes this deck kind of like more and more respectable in my eyes as I've kept playing with it. So in my hands I have Arima, Libellion, Manamut, Golden Burst, and Lament. He has Chimera Fusion, Mourner, Droll, Cold Bite, and Eclipse. He goes first. He doesn't have he didn't open any of the Chimera cards, so he just says to and pass. I drew into Big Welcome Labyrinth. So now what's gonna happen is I activate the Arima. He immediately changed Cold by the Grave. So him doing this kind of tells you that he already knows what this card does. And this card should be feared and should be respected because yeah, like Lair of Darkness is not really a card everybody faces with ease. So the Arima is being sniped, but I'm glad there was the Arima and not something like the Libellion. Like sniping the Libellion would have been a lot rougher for me. So now I do Libellion and he draws. That's kind of unfortunate that he kind of does that, but it is what it is. So now I have a couple of options. I can either set with the Lady Lament, or I can go and tribute her off for Kaiser, and then special Manamut, swing with them both, and then like in the Manamut, I just grab the Libellion during the end phase. I kind of missequence it. I don't do exactly that play. I end up summoning Golden Burst and I do attack with it, but I did not summon the Manamut prior, which would have made a big difference because then it would have been more damage. And I just applying a lot more pressure to my opponent. I grab the Libellion back for next turn, so he has to play against that. And I also have the Big Welcome Labyrinth. There is one inclusion that I made in the extra deck that it does actually help, but I guess I didn't summon it because my opponent scooped. Game 2, I have Kaiser, Nadir Servant, Libellion, Lovely Labyrinth, and Kaiser. He has double Droll, Berfomet, Quartal, and Boogamoon. So he has his Chimera engine, and not only does he has the Chimera engine, he has Boogamoon as Disruption, and he also has Droll. So this is going to be a little bit rough for me. That being said, we'll just show it off. The Gazelle summon grabs. I'm happy that he did this play and not the Mirror Sword Knight play. So a lot of people are tunnel vision into just thinking Mirror Sword Knight is the best play because it's always a +1 whenever it resolves. But if you have the bird format in hand, you want to utilize as many resources as possible. You want to be super conservative with these resources because the thing about the Chimera deck is that after you exhaust your resources like once or twice, you start running out of gas, and then this deck like doesn't do well in the grind game. So doing this ensures that he has more copies of Preference still in his deck, and the Gazelle is just going to grab him the Mirror Sword Knight for next turn. The only caveat to this is that he cannot Mirror Sword Knight me on my turn because he doesn't have an extra interruption. But you know, I think it's more than acceptable given the circumstances. So here's something very unorthodox. He activates the Chimera Fusion again, and he fuses with the Chimera King and the Mirror Sword Knight to make the Illusion Beast. There are pros and cons to this. One pro to doing this is that you have Chimera in your graveyard, and you have this as well. So you always have the illusion monsters in the graveyard to be set up, and you always have access to Chimera Fusion because you have multiple monsters that are treated themselves as the Flame Mythical Beast. The caveat to this is that now he doesn't have the Chimera Fusion as interruption. You can make the argument that I don't know the set card, and that could be Chimera Fusion itself. However, like, I strongly think that he should have just kept the Mythical Beast and used this as interruption for my turn. Well, we'll proceed. He snipes the Kaiser out of the hand. I would wish it was Lovely Labyrinth, but nothing we can do about that. I drew into enemy controller. So in the draw phase, he immediately does Chimera King for the Mirror Sword Knight, and I think this is a very bold move on his end because he knows that I play Bestials in my deck. So doing this it makes it a huge risk. If you're the Chimera player, please don't do this. Like, all you're going to be doing is you're losing too many resources in the off chance I actually do have the Bestial. Like, your only interruption is the Book of Moon, and that doesn't stop the Bestial from being summoned, and it doesn't stop this from foraging. You are going to be paid off if I don't have the Bestial, but if you know that I am Bestials like in my deck and you've seen it in game 1, don't do that play. But he got rewarded because I actually don't have it. He goes, he tributes, and he grabs the Chimera Fusion and the Gazelle. So now, I activate the Rebellion, I grab the Mana Moon, and I get rolled. So now, we're back to what happened in the first game, and I have to utilize my resources as efficient as possible, because now he has the advantage over me. Because not only does he have the Chimera Fusion for the next turn, but I am on the duel, so I cannot add anything. This Nadir Servant is not live, and Magnum is still live because I can still grab Rebellion from the graveyard as well as the Kaiser Glader. However, yeah. So I do Magnum, I banish, I trigger the Magnum, I special Rebellion. He sets it with Book of Moon. I summon the Kaiser, and I tribute over the Rebellion. And it's another cool thing about Kaiser. When your guys get booked, this guy is just an easy way for you to keep applying pressure even if your monsters do get booked. So even if you don't have Lair of Darkness, this card is pretty cool. Like, just summoning this face up just still applies pressure to your opponent. And that's pretty cool for me because now that I did that, I can grab Rebellion back from the graveyard. And I have the Rebellion again for the next turn. So now he draws, he does Chimera Fusion, he grabs it back, he summons the Illusion, he does Magnum. I think he should have summoned Chimera instead of Magnum, and it would have applied a lot more pressure to me, and he would have made it so he could draw extra cards. Like, he has 2 draws already in hand, alongside the draw is already in graveyard, so he doesn't really need to keep resolving draw left and right. So he activates Gazelle. I chained the enemy controller for Magnum. That way he doesn't have the Magnum to apply pressure to me, and he summons Mirror Sword and passes. On my turn, he shotguns the Mirror Sword. He summons. He grabs Chimera Fusion. And now I do Rebellion, I do Druid's Worm, and I get rolled again. Very unfortunate. I just kind of have to keep playing with my resources without exhausting them. So now, he has the Chimera Fusion, but he's under draw. Since we're both under draw, he cannot do the Guardian Chimera. So now, this is no longer an interruption against me. Not only that, he loses follow-up from Gazelle as well. So that's also not good for him. So now I'm contemplating on my choices. One choice that I have is summoning Duel's Worm and running over the Magnum, and then I can do Duel's Worm in the damage step, and just get rid of the Magnum altogether. And he cannot do the Magnum effect during the damage step. And then I just swing it over with the Arima. The other option is to link or synchro away the two monsters in my hand, and just make Chaos Angel. That applies pressure. So that's what I end up doing. I target the Chaos Angel, and I use Chaos Angel and Druid's Worm. Chaos to banish the Magnum, and Druid's to chain to the Gazelle. So one thing that I noticed, yeah. So he Magnum chains, and he sends the Chaos Angel, and he ends up chaining the Chimera Fusion because he doesn't want to lose all the monsters. He rather just have fused with all of them, and that's really good for me because he got rid of the third duel. I remind him that the Chimera cannot be activated because of duel. He swings over, kicks me for 33, and now I don't have to worry about Droll anymore because all three Drolls are in his graveyard. So now I can do Nadir Servant. So Nadir Servant, I send the Entis to grab Ecclesia. The Entis is going to pop the Chimera. You could make the argument that I could have went after his set cards. One of them we already knew it was the Chimera Fusion. The other one we didn't know it was Imperm. But a good argument would have been to just kick away the set card and just grab with Ecclesia, and whatever we grab with Ecclesia can contest the Guardian Chimera. But that's not what I end up doing. I get impermed and I swing, and now I'm in the winning position because he exhausted pretty much everything from the Chimera stuff. Like all three Gazelles are in graveyard, Brofferman's in grave, most of his solution monsters are gone as well. So there are very, very few cards that he can top deck that can get him out of it, and that's one of them. Brand Fusion. Like this game has been very, very unfortunate for me. I got drolled twice in a row. I got impermed out of this, which again you can make the argument we could have misplayed not well into it, and now he top decks this. I still fine though because he sends Mirror Sword Knight, he goes for Albion, then he banishes 2 for the Chimera King, and the Chimera King does that, but he cannot run over this Ecclesia. This Ecclesia cannot die by battle against extra monsters, so now this monster just stays, and let's see what he hits. He snipes the Arima. Like, again, very unfortunate. Like, this Lovely has stuck on my hand for the longest time. I drew into Nadir Servant and pass. He drew into Cold Grave and pass. I drew into Ariana. And this is really cool for me because you're going to see that this Ariana pretty much applies too much pressure on him. So I do Ariana. He goes Mirror Sword Knight. I'm debating whether this set card is another Imperm or not. I don't think it could be Imperm. Otherwise, he probably would have saved the Mirror Sword Knight for something else. But it is Cold Grave. So I summon Macracker. I try to activate. He chains Cold By. I lose the Chaos Angel. And now I activate Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant, send Garura. I grab the Ecclesia. Garura effect. I draw into Big Welcome. And you're about to see why Big Welcome is why I really like this engine. Why this engine is still favorable for me despite me having like this brick card. I special the Ecclesia because there are extra monsters now. Ecclesia effect, I grab Punishment. I set Punishment and Big Welcome, and I pass. I chug gun the Big Welcome. The reason I'm doing this and not like activating the Punishment is because he still has Quarrel engraved. And he also has another copy of Mirror Sword Knight. So basically this makes it so I can get rid of the Chimera King without targeting. So I do that, I activate that, he lets it go through. I think he forgot about the Mirror Sword Knight, which I cannot blame him for. Like, it's been way long into the duel. But Lovely Labyrinth resolves, and now he goes to battle phase, and I activate punishment. He can no longer protect this because he doesn't have the guardian. He doesn't have the Chimera, and I end up winning the duel. But yeah, one thing to take away from this deck is that it's really, really good at trading resources. Draw kind of does stop you, but you do have plays, you do have way to recur your resources. Um, like resolving Big Welcome is such a blowout, especially with the bestials. Resolving Punishment is also a blowout. Uh, as you can see, I added Muckracker to the extra deck. And another monster I added to the extra deck is the Hieratic Seal, because it does come up since I do play a lot of dragon monsters. But yeah, slowly but surely I'm still perfecting the deck. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. Whenever I see duels like these, I'll just kind of keep recording them because this is a very interesting deck. I do kind of want to learn it, and it's something you're probably not going to see in other channels, at least for the time being. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Keep practicing and keep dueling.